Some of you are miserable. Some of you are not thriving. Some of you are not feeling good. Some of you are not achieving your goals. Some of you are not looking your best. Some of you are lazy. Some of you don't have money. Some of you don't have love. Some of you don't have friends. Whatever the case is, if you're experiencing any of the things that I just mentioned, I'm going to give you a really simple solution today to get out of that rut and actually be in alignment with the person that you want to be in life. And it all starts with the question, are you addicted to suffering? A lot of you might say, no, I am not addicted to suffering. My life is just hard. And to those of you, I'm going to say you are wrong. Many of us are addicted to suffering. Many of us are addicted to being miserable. And in this video, we're going to discuss why that is and how to get out of it so that we can actually achieve the life that we want to live. We are all addicted to suffering and being miserable in some way, shape, or form. We live in a society and we are living in a culture that thrives on our feelings of mediocrity and self-deprecation. It is February 2025. I'm going to stop you right there if you are feeling like a victim and if you are starting to suffer again. And we're just going to cut it right here today because I'm going to give you a very simple trick in this video on how to get out of that and how to make sure that you don't end up spiraling down the same path that you did last year and the year before that and the year before that. It ends today. Just honestly shut up and please keep watching, because once you realize how simple this is, you're gonna feel really stupid. Hi everyone, my name is Marcus. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I do spirituality, self-development, self-actualization, self-betterment, self-preservation, self.com. That is me, that is what I do. If you want to learn how to improve yourself and if you want to stop being a victim, this is the channel for you. You can go ahead and subscribe now and be along for the ride. If you want to complain about your life, if you don't want to make any changes, then you can go ahead and go to the next video and watch someone else, because that is not going to be what we're discussing today or ever on this channel. First of all, if you've ever had a journal and you started writing about your days and then you quickly found that a lot of your journal entries were you complaining or talking about how unfulfilling your life is or how hard it is for you, then you probably have a semblance of being addicted to suffering. Another way that you can find out if you're addicted to suffering is to just look at the life around you. Do you feel that you cannot name one area of your life, whether it's work, academics, love, your body, whatever? If you can't name one area of your life that is thriving and that is going exceptionally well for you, you're also probably addicted to suffering. If you gravitate towards sad music, if you gravitate towards quick fixes in life, alcohol, lying, excessive eating, any quick dopamine fix just means that you probably are addicted to suffering in some way. And I will tell you why. The first thing that I want to start out with is to not blame yourself for being addicted to suffering. It's really normal. We live in a society and we are being brought about in a culture that thrives on our inadequacy and that thrives on our unhappiness. That is how capitalism works. We are sold problems and then we buy into that and we try to fix it only to have more problems. If we had everything that we wanted and everything was perfect, you couldn't market anything to us, we wouldn't buy anything, the world would freeze over. So this society unfortunately thrives on our suffering and thrives on our self-hatred. That is why there are more losers in life than there are winners, because it is very easy to suffer. It is very easy to find something to complain about. Stop right now and think about 3 things that are not going well in your life. Exactly. And I could name 3 things. I probably name 7 things right now if I wanted to. So it's just really easy. It's much easier to admit what's going wrong than to proudly proclaim what's going well. This is very insidious, and let me tell you why. The addiction to suffering is so integral to our human psychology, and it is so integral to our sense of self that a lot of the times this mechanism is completely subconscious to us. We make excuses for ourselves. So now I'm going to tell you how this addiction may manifest or show up in your life. How would being addicted to suffering show up in your day-to-day experience? I will give you an example. So let's say that you don't like your body, right? You are not feeling confident in your clothes. You feel like you've let yourself go. Maybe you're not proud of the way that you look. It's really normal. It's really common. But instead of making a serious attempt at correcting that, whether it's getting a gym membership, hiring a trainer, monitoring your diet, all of the things that you should be doing, instead you resort to binging on the weekends and indulging in the foods that you want to eat. And maybe you're putting off working out. You're putting it off until it's the right time or the right environment. That is a myth, by the way. It's never the right time to start something besides the present moment. So you're putting it off, and as a result, you're getting ready to go to an event, you're getting ready to go to a dinner, and you're putting on clothes and you're taking off clothes and you're sighing in between, you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you're saying, I don't look good in anything, for example. That is an addiction to suffering. You know you're not happy, you know that this is going to affect your day-to-day life, but rather than confidently and proudly tackling this issue in the ways that you know you need to, you are paralyzed in a state of suffering. How long have you been unhappy with that area of your life? For example, it's probably been a long time that you've been unhappy with this area of your life. Have you done anything to change it? Have you confidently and consistently done anything to change it? You are addicted to suffering. There are many solutions to the problems that we face in this world. Whether it's, again, being unhappy with your body, whether it's not making enough money at your job, whether it's not having a loving partner, there are many solutions and you know what they are. There are no new problems under the sun. We all have the same problems and we've had the same problems for generation after generation after generation. They just take different forms. The solutions are out there. It's whether or not you want to be uncomfortable enough to actually change them. You do not fear misery and suffering. A lot of us actually fear what it would look like if we had what we want, because we would have no excuse at that point. We would have no excuse for our life looking the way that it looks in the present moment if we are consciously and affirmatively tackling what it is that challenges us. So why do we do this? Why are we addicted to suffering? Why do we gravitate towards situations that leave us feeling unfulfilled and worse than when we started? Addiction to suffering is caused by a running story going in your subconscious mind that has gone unchecked for so long that it has become a facet of your identity. And what do I mean by this? Let's say, for example, you have a running story that you are unlovable. Maybe you went through a bad breakup and, you didn't really bounce back as easily as you thought you could have. Maybe you've tried dating and it just hasn't really panned out for you. And you have developed subconsciously a story that love is hard for me. People are gonna give up on me. I am not one for true love. I am one for a one-night stand. I am one for being abandoned, so on and so forth. That is a mechanism that you have created in your mind to describe the experience that you had. A lot of the times, addiction to suffering is the product of key foundational experiences of trauma that have gone unchecked and then have become lodged into our psyche and influence the way that we look and perceive the world around us. They cause us to look and perceive of the world around us through the lens of the pain that we have endured subconsciously. So if you have been heartbroken a lot, if you haven't really had a good love life, if you haven't really had a good familial experience, your parents maybe were shitty to you, whatever influenced you picking bad partners, so on and so forth, then you have adopted the belief that you're unlovable. What will happen then is you will subconsciously, listen very clear, you will subconsciously seek out and accept partners that you know on a core level will disappoint you and then will further cement the idea that you are unlovable. You will seek unsafe partners. You will tell yourself that danger and insecurity are equated to feelings of love. It is true love, it's passion. That's not true. You will seek these people out. You will, unknowingly to yourself, participate in your own misery by selecting this relationship, by engaging with this person that you know you are meeting under unsafe circumstances, that you know has red flags, that is reflective of partners you have chosen in the past that have hurt you. And then you will live out the same experience over and over and over again, further solidifying the narrative that you are unlovable, rather than go and consciously select a nice guy, a nice girl, a nice they, them, rather than embracing someone that might not be as passionate and exciting to your nervous system, but is actually stable and loving towards you. You're not going to seek these people out. And even if you got them, you wouldn't be attracted to them. You would make up excuses. Your body would shut down. You would not perceive of them. And you will be committed to the story that you are unlovable. I'm telling you because I've experienced this. And the same goes for weight loss. The same goes for I'm not making enough money. The same goes for I don't have any best friends. I don't have any good friends. You are oftentimes a participant in that story because you are deriving pleasure from the fact that it is solidifying an inner narrative of martyrdom and suffering that you have created through past traumas. That is why people are addicted to suffering. And I know, and you know, that breaking out of that narrative is uncomfortable and it requires a shift in identity, which is very, very hard to do, and you have to be really honest with yourself. So now I have told you what addiction to suffering is, how it shows up in your life, and now I'm going to be telling you what you can do to break that addiction and actually manifest a successful life for yourself, happiness and fulfillment in whatever area that you choose. I've talked about how addiction to suffering is at the core an issue of identity. We have identified with our pain, with our trauma, and we are reluctant to let that go. And we have made comfort in that. Even though it's miserable and even though it's not where we want to be, it is comfortable and familiar for us to be in those spaces. So I will now tell you how to break that curse and just be fucking better in your life. Okay? I will explain this to you through a personal example. I used to have really bad teeth, okay? Really, really bad teeth. I was just born with fucked up teeth, literally would come out of my body fucked up. It was just not something I was ever really proud of with myself. And it has brought me a lot of trauma at a young age. So much so that I just became ashamed of them and I would just not do anything about it. That's just the way the world is. I have bad teeth. One day I'll fix this problem. Until then, I will continue living in misery. I would constantly have problems with my teeth where I would really need a root canal or really need a filling, whatever. And I wouldn't do anything about it. And I would wait until it got to a point where I was like in severe pain. And this would happen a lot. It happened for years. And I would make up excuses. I was so ashamed of it that I didn't even want like a dentist to see that. I wouldn't want to face this issue, you know what I mean? Because I was ashamed of it. As a result of being so ashamed of it, I perpetuated a cycle of suffering. I became comfortable in my suffering. Was I happy with them? No, but I was comfortable in this life of shame until I was basically forced into changing them. And I was forced into going into the dentist and changing my teeth and paying for all of my teeth to get fixed. And it has been a very rewarding experience for me. I've been so happy. I've been so over the moon about the results. And as a result of me being forced to change them and invest in them, I became proud of them. And my identity and my perception of my teeth has completely shifted. And so let me break down what I just said. I had an identity of, I don't have good teeth. I never will have good teeth. This is an area of my life that I'm ashamed of. Other people have good teeth. That's just not my story. That's not my life. I became comfortable in this identity. And that goes for anything in your life, I became comfortable in the fact that I can't make a lot of money. I became comfortable in the fact that I don't like my body. I became comfortable in the fact that like no one wants to date me, blah, blah, blah. Whatever the story is, we became comfortable in that fact. We became comfortable in that trauma, that misery, that mediocrity, whatever it is. It is a product of shame. I was ashamed of it. Other people are ashamed of other parts of themselves, whatever. And facing it, me going to the dentist, you choosing a loving partner for once in your goddamn life, you starting that gym membership, facing it initially will bring about a lot of feelings of shame. It will bring about a lot of feelings of shame to the point where you relive that trauma again. I relived the trauma of my teeth when I went to the dentist and started working on them. It was a very painful experience for me. So you're opening that wound again. When you actually confidently say, I'm gonna go fix this area of my life that I'm not happy with, you reopen that wound that was created however many years ago that has been lodged in your psyche. It is very traumatic. So that's why you have stayed in a state of suffering for so long, because you knew that facing it would bring this wound up again. You knew that, and your body was protecting you from that. But logically, and on a conscious level, you know that the only way to improve, and the only way to get the solutions that are there for you, you know what the solutions are to your problem, would involve taking that step of shame, taking that step of facing your shame head on and changing it. It is very challenging because you leave yourself very vulnerable. I was vulnerable in that dentist chair. You are vulnerable on that date with that loving guy. You leave yourself very vulnerable. But if you can push through this vulnerability and you can be open to that identity that you've created changing, what would it look like if I was the guy with really nice teeth? What would it look like if you were the relationship person? What would it look like if you were the person with the fit bod? Whatever the case may be. What would that look like for you? And accepting that as a possibility, that's going to be your ticket out. That's going to be your ticket to the life that you want to live, is suspending your belief enough to face your shame and initiate, and then not only initiate, but be determined through persistence and consistency to live out this life of self-betterment in whatever area it is that you have been ashamed of and not really acknowledging. Facing that head on That is your ticket out. It's uncomfortable. No one wants to do it. It brings up a lot of feelings of shame. But if you can push through, you listen to me very clearly. You will have what you want and you won't suffer anymore. You are ripping a Band-Aid. When you rip a Band-Aid, it's like really painful at first, but are we gonna live life with a Band-Aid on for the rest of our lives? Or are we gonna rip it off and acknowledge that we have healed? You know what I mean? We can put this part down now. We can put this shame away now. You just fucking face it and shut up. That's really just it. And a lot of you need to hear that. A lot of you need to just shut the fuck up and do what you need to do. You know what it is. I hate when YouTubers are like, do this, do that, levitate, drink the water, write it in your journal, all of that stuff. Whatever the fuck you need to do, fine. Moral of the story, shut up and do what you need to do, and shut the fuck up and do what you need to do, okay? The last thing I want to talk about is self-worth. I talked about shame. I talked about the trauma of changing something in your life, you know what I mean? A long-standing issue that you've had. But taking it one step further back, really a lot of this is a product of low self-worth. And low self-worth is not an umbrella term. I'm not talking about someone who altogether has low self-worth. While that may be the case, it can be specific. I can have low self-worth with regards to my dental health. I can have low self-worth with regards to my romantic life. You can probably name a couple of areas in your life, a couple of specific areas in your life where you feel unworthy. You feel unworthy to have what it is that you want in that area of your life. Close your eyes right now and think about an area of your life. This is an exercise. Do what I say. Close your eyes right now and think about an area of your life that you're not happy with. Some of you are not happy with love. Some of you are not happy with work, friendships, the way you look, the way you sound, the way you act, where you come from. Close your eyes and think about that area of your life that you're unhappy with. Just think about one for right now. Now I want you to imagine what it would look like if you had what you wanted in that area of your life. What would that loving relationship look like for you? What would that dream body look like for you? Imagine you're standing in the mirror and you're looking at your dream body. Imagine you are, making $200,000 a year. You're getting that check in the mail. Imagine that. What do you feel right now? Do you feel good, or do you feel that could never be me? Or could you not even imagine it? Could you not even get through the exercise? Are you making up excuses as to why that can't be you? Are you saying that what Marcus is saying right now doesn't apply to me? He doesn't get it. You are addicted to suffering and you have low self-worth in that area. It's okay. I'm not mad. But it's the truth. You can have anything that you want in life. You can accomplish anything that you want. Anything. And that goes for anyone out there. I don't give a fuck who you are. Anything that you want, anything that you feel in your heart you want, that you feel like you don't deserve, I'm just gonna tell you right now, you can have it. You can have it, and you know how to get it. You know how to get it. You don't need me telling you. All you need me to tell you is, are you brave enough to go out there and get it? Are you brave enough to break that story that you have in your mind? A lot of the times change is uncomfortable. A lot of the times growth is uncomfortable. Being honest with yourself, holding yourself accountable, that's uncomfortable. But you know what to do. You know what you need to do to get what you want. So just go out there and do it and shut up. All right, you guys, I'm kind of tired of talking about this. I really hope that this video helps. You know what you need to do. Just shut up and do it. Please subscribe to my channel, my Instagram at marcusmek. Comment an area of your life. Make a commitment right now. Comment an area of your life that you are going to try to tackle and change. Hold yourself accountable. Write it down under this video. An area of your life that you are going to change. That's what I would like to see. That's what I would like to see. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching, and goodbye.